RJ Billions.
Hi, brother. How are you?
I'm good. How's it going
So
today?
I don't have so much of time because
Oh, wow.
I mean, I heard of a story.
Okay.
You're telling me on the phone,
Yeah.
and I thought it was going to make sense to come in here and just have this record. This record is impromptu, so we're doing it because we want to share this to people so people can learn from the story.
Okay.
Okay. So viewers, sorry we didn't have to do our hello thing. We have a very interesting to talk about, and we don't have so much of time. We want to get it's so hot, so we want to get into it right away and right now.
Yeah.
So I know you started telling me about the story of a deal.
Yeah.
How broker didn't approve or something. Just I don't want to assume I know. I want to hear it because I'm so fascinated about it.
So, this just speaks to some of the things that happen in our industry, in terms of, sketchy things that are happening, right, in the industry. And I think first-time home buyers or people trying to buy properties should be more like, let's not force it. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. Let's not force
So take
it.
a point. So if you're a first-time home buyer, please come here. This is for you. So if you know someone who is a first-time home buyer who is considering to buy a property, you want to listen to this story because you don't want to make this mistake. So please go ahead.
Awesome. So basically, I heard of a story, a buyer trying to buy a property.
Okay.
And obviously the agent introduced them to a mortgage broker because that's the first step naturally.
Absolutely.
Right? We always hammer on, get a pre-approval, get a pre-approval, get a pre-approval. So the agent basically introduces them to the mortgage broker, checks all the documentation, checks everything to make sure that, okay, their income checks out, their credit score checks out, and whatever. So let's say this family now basically qualifies for 600,000, for instance, or 550. But obviously, if you're a family of 4 in your home or you're a family of 3, they want a bigger space.
Yeah.
They want like at least at bare minimum, you find that people are looking for like 3-bedroom, 3 bathrooms.
Yeah.
That's like usually the average house size people are looking for, right? 550, as we know, almost cannot get anything in that range. And so what you find is there's a lot of, brokers and agents need to do better. This is really not even an indictment on the clients, indictment on actual agents. Because now agents are literally running things for people.
That one has been for a long time.
This is a story I heard.
I'm sure even our audience know people that they've run things for.
Yeah.
They run things. I used to know of an agent also, just to chime in that literally, I remember sometime my friend of mine was trying to buy a property.
Right.
And they weren't getting approved because of their current income. I then actually told them that I could work it out for them.
Yeah, same thing.
So get them a second job,
basically
do a pay stop for them and all
here.
those things. Yeah. So agents run things. So agents, let's stop running things. We don't run things.
Don't run things.
Let's run the right things for people. Let's run the right things. And even today, I'm going to share a story I had with one of our senior, realtor that shared something with me today.
Right.
It was about a foreclosure. Agent, we need to do better. So please go on.
So that's basically what happened. They basically ran it for them. So that's the story. Running for them. And for me, I keep telling buyers, right? I keep telling people that
Let them get the gist of the story. Just give us a full context.
Also, after that, basically they went with the agent.
I was going to run things.
And in running things, now I guess they bought a property, pretty much. They bought a property.
On the run things.
Okay. On running things, right? But for me, it was just like, so it was very interesting to find out, okay, this actually, and maybe this is the first time I'm hearing, to be honest, I've heard about it, but it hasn't been this close.
Okay.
So to see it was now like, oh, wow, this is actually happening. And apparently people actually have people in some certain institutions, even on the mortgage side,
to run things too, right?
To run it all the way. But for me, I always say, in real estate, if you're trying to buy what we don't have, yes, you might not qualify today, but we believe in developing a strategy.
Yeah.
A strategy behind it.
It's like a roadmap.
Yeah, just because you can't, like we said, your real estate journey, just because you can't buy it doesn't mean you can't buy 3 months down the line. You can't buy 6 months down the line. It can even mean creative financing methods, right? It can mean from being intentional about your tax returns to make sure you get like a huge tax
deliberate
return back.
Savings.
Do you understand?
Cutting down on some things for just for the BRS time.
Saving your bonus.
Saving up, yeah.
Putting money in an RRSP and being able to use your RRSP to purchase. Putting money in your FHSA as well, which is your first time home buyer savings account or your RRSP registered retirement savings. Just let's come up with a cohesive strategy as to how you buy.
Not just a quick win.
Yeah.
Running things, that doesn't work. Yeah. Yeah. And I think, so I'm also going to blame people as well, which is where our home parts, for this particular podcast comes. Let people know that You don't have to get under pressure to buy a property. Right? The Bible says the blessing of the Lord maketh rich and hath no sorrow.
Sorry.
So it makes all things good in his own time. There's always a time for everything. Right? See, and I think for me as a person, that's something I believe so much.
Right.
And when I spend time with clients, I tell my clients, you don't have to buy real estate if it's not coming easy for you. Right? Because if it's God's blessing, it's going to come with so much of his. Yes, people say that it's the biggest thing you ever buy.
Right.
Like in terms of property, it's going to be the most expensive you're ever going to buy. So because of that process of buying can take a lot of sweat from you. You might have to dip into some say. But we have people that have actually bought and they didn't have to dip in so much into their, they didn't have to stress. They bought and it felt like nothing really happened.
Right.
But people always feel like, is it possible? It's very, very possible. Because if you're very intentional about buying, it doesn't, I mean, you don't buy accidentally. Yes, opportunity can show up for you to say, oh, there's a foreclosure somewhere, or there's a property that someone is selling, or something can come, information can come like will help you to buy at a very affordable price.
Rate,
but it doesn't happen accidentally.
Right.
You need to have a plan. Again, it's a huge expense. It's a big asset that you're trying to buy into. It doesn't happen accidentally.
Right.
You won't just wake up and be like, oh, today I'm buying a house. You need to have a plan for it. Because beyond the down payment, you're going to have your property tax that people don't really talk about.
Yeah, there are other expenses that come with that.
Yeah.
And if you enter, and what people need to realize is that, when the banks do their own assessment and they tell you, oh, we can only give you 550, right? There are numbers behind this that they've run the numbers to say, okay, you know what? Based on your income, based on your credit score, based on the down payment you're putting down, this is how much you can afford.
As a matter of oftentimes, it's even to your own advantage.
Exactly.
But they're saying the stress test, right? They're trying to like, because
if rates change, you'll be in trouble.
You'll be in trouble. And I mean, guess what? The funny thing is that people don't know that. The bank should not even care.
Technically, yes.
Because if you just want to, that's your business.
I mean, they care about their money. Actually, to be fair,
they'll foreclose.
They'll sell the house and get the money back. To be
they'll
fair,
sell the house. They will foreclose and sell the house. But the bank, again, the way, because we're in a civilized environment, developed nation, it tells us about people, right? Because even for bankers, it's a lot of stress.
Absolutely.
To sell, all of those things. I heard of today of a foreclosure that happened today.
Just today?
Yeah, of a big property that was foreclosed,
Oh, wow.
And I happen to have had some interaction with that property, which is why the information, got to me.
Why are you speaking in parables? What's the interaction you had? Did you lay the bricks on it?
No, I just want to. Yeah, that's serious.
Give us the gist.
So because of the interaction I had,
right?
It kind of, when I spoke to the person today, was a senior colleague, and the person was just telling me that, that property, they had to foreclose. And we got talking, and
Isn't that property in Pekin?
Yeah, and I said, and I said,
wow.
And I said, this is why I tell people that real estate. So they bought they bought when the market was very, very hot. At its
peak, right?
Yeah, they bought very, very high. I mean, so it became a lot of issue. The bank had to even
they should have accepted the first offer on that property.
Yeah.
And they got greedy.
And I think that's a part we're going to talk about for buyers as well. Evaluate situations,
right?
I mean, which do you prefer? Bank will say anyhow.
Bank
would not say to your advantage because they're interested. They want to get their money.
They just want to get there. Once they recoup their
They're not really good at
funds.
They don't really care about.
But they're bound to sell at a fair market value price. Right? They don't go beneath that. But still.
So the thing is that, and so we got talking, and I said, see, one of my personal values or philosophy for clients, which I think is for us, is the fact that even if you're qualified for $1 million, is there a way we can help you not to spend $1 million?
Right.
To say, I don't want to buy a property and you can't live a life. People buy property and they can't go on vacation.
Yeah.
They can't sleep. Because you see them with pencil and paper, calculating because it's not hard enough. Right. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Again, we're not specifying that it's a big asset. It's very expensive. I mean, to get a good property right now, you're looking at about minimum 800.
At least, yeah.
And that's probably going to be for a townhouse.
Right.
Right? But if you can start from there, it pays you better to start from there and be able to sleep very well and be able to live your normal life, go on vacation, help people.
Or continue renting and just invest in it.
Or continue renting. I mean, we've spoken about options.
Right.
It's real estate. You don't have to live in it.
Right.
You can invest in it. Figure out what works for you. You shouldn't have to bury yourself into.
Again, it goes back to having a strategy.
It's a strategy.
Having a strategy behind what you're
Right
doing.
now, property now was foreclosed.
That's so sad.
Right.
And it had a separate entrance, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So that's an opportunity. Hey, if you guys want, it's a foreclosure property. So it's an what will I say? A huge opportunity for a buyer, because this is in Pickering, a detached property with a separate entrance. Even though there's some tender loving care that needs to be done in terms of renovations and stuff.
But over time, if you can put in the money, I mean, whatever is required to get it, in TLC, I think, it's a good value.
Yep.
Yeah. So the point is, number one, let me just say very clearly, you don't have to buy property being fraudulent.
Simple.
You don't have to.
That's the whole point of what we're trying to say.
There's no need. People do it. So somebody will tell you, I need to say, guess what? I can't do it for you.
And I can't do it as well.
Definitely. So, yeah. So I mean, full disclosure. Because what I want for you...
I'm not saying to say, we're saying to anything, but it's not just worth it on the long run.
It doesn't just worth it.
Yeah, it's not
right?
worth it in the long run.
Because what's the point of... I think there's a word in the book of Proverbs that says that whatever is obtained fraudulently, right, is definitely going to go away.
Yep.
And Proverbs 20... Today's what?
Today is the 20...
So our reading for today,
22nd,
spoke about money is like a wing.
Oh, money has wings, basically.
Money has wings. It flies away.
It can fly away, basically.
When you don't understand the value of it, when you don't protect it with the right things to do, and when you don't nurture it, not you having to love money like life.
Right.
But it's basically saying that don't place so much of value on money. Right? Because it's going to fly away.
And in this context, don't overemphasize.
Don't overemphasize on the need. Yeah, so don't overemphasize. Yeah. Think about it.
You have to basically drop your
everything.
Values.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's really trending now.
Yeah, it's huge. People affordability is an issue.
It's an issue. So people are willing to do anything about it. But think about it, right? How do you want to close their eyes and pray to God? Like we even tell God, say, Father, thank you for giving me this house. And in your mind,
we go shock you.
To be honest,
some people give testimonies.
Yeah, but in your mind, be honest to yourself, right? Even that's on the spiritual part, on the value, on the integrity part. But even on your own circumstance part, the bank can figure out. Number one, even if they don't find out, the point is you've bought a house you cannot afford. Because that's always the summary of it.
You know the fear I've always had, even with respect to doing things like this. I've always thought to myself, it takes one day. Like I know there was a CBC documentary about agents doing like forcing people to buy certain properties and all that. I was thinking to myself, it just takes one deal to blow up, and every deal that broker, in terms of the mortgage broker, has done, the bank will just review everything. Yeah. They just review everything. Now they might keep quiet because they want to keep enjoying the mortgage payments, or they might come for you and say, "Okay, this happened here. Show us this documentation." Just for one deal to blow up. And it always happens that way. Someone leaves a certain screw on lock.
And think about it. For me, the way I look at it is even on another side of it is the fact that if you can't afford it, you can't afford it.
Period.
Right? So now having to falsify documents,
to change numbers,
it's already it's already creating a burden on you because now
incriminating.
Because now you're buying a property that you don't have the funds for.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying? So maybe your income can afford 700,000. They've done something for you, so you can be able to pay 800,000
or 1 million
to get to 1 million. Now, where are you going to get 800,000? The income of that 800,000 from?
Are you asking me? It's not with me. I didn't buy it.
So oftentimes people, you really want something, right? And I feel that investment is progressive.
Yep.
Right. So if what you can afford is a 3-bedroom right now, or even a 2-bedroom, or if you feel that your family requires a 4-bedroom,
just rent.
Based on size, just rent.
And rent is actually cheap now.
Yeah, it's a good time. Rich, and then build a strategy to be able to buy.
Get into that.
Right. And then you buy peacefully without stress. At the end of the day, you're going to be paying your mortgage.
Right.
And if it's not coming easy for you, trust me, the bank. I mean, you don't want to get into how uncomfortable it is. Interest rate. If you're not going to get on variable. And it's when interest is going up and you go from 4K to like 5K in the speed of 2 months. I talk from experience.
Because even what that happens is when you're doing sketchy stuff as well, usually buyers don't even have the patience to review the documents.
Yeah.
So you don't know what rate they give you.
Yeah,
Fixed,
because
variable,
I mean, of course,
because everything is
because
just
everything is
runs.
everything
It's
is
all
Oluwole.
runs. Stop saying that.
Everything is
falsified.
falsified. You want to get it
You
done.
don't even know if it's fixed, if it's variable, what's gonna happen if this happens. So you just take whatever they give you, right?
And then think about, so you know the way I look at the way I look about integrity. I look at things from a long time, like my vision, my goals, what I intend to do in my life.
Right.
So imagine that agent that help you to falsify things.
They go their way now, both
right?
agents though.
And then tomorrow you want to contest for mayor
Of Toronto.
of Toronto.
So this guy
And the guy is looking like you must be a joker.
or she must be a
No,
joker.
you must be a joker. Or she must be a joker. Or whatever. Must be a joker.
Like, wasn't it you that I did so and so for?
And you won't know the guy.
Right.
I mean, you won't know he's the one.
Right.
Probably God will not. I mean, whatever it's maybe is working for the other opponent. Or
You're right,
it's
different party.
It's a different party. You just release the information, but you know he's the one.
Right.
You
You just see yourself on
you just release that information.
on the newspapers.
You know.
New mayor candidates caught in mortgage fraud.
Yeah. You know. So for me, I look at the fact that whatever I want to do, I look at how the person doing it for me perceives me.
Right.
So it might be the person helping me to get it done.
Right.
But I'm thinking about the person really sees me. I don't know if it makes sense to you.
I hear what you're saying.
And one thing I've learned growing up is the fact that they will tell you that if you're doing bad things together, and both of you are lovers doing bad things together, when that friend repents and needs someone of integrity, it's not going to come to you. Do you get the point? So this is someone that you both done shady things together, right? And because of that, best flows together.
Right.
So because you're both doing shady things together, you guys are lovers. Now, when you need someone in his life that has integrity, he won't call you because he knows you don't have integrity.
Right.
But you are both lovers doing wrong things. Now, people say even when he's even still doing the wrong thing, you now need someone that will help him to do the right thing.
It still won't be you.
It won't be you because he knows that it's not you. No. Right. So for me, I think about the way people perceive me. So before I come to you and tell you to do shady things for me, I've already condemned myself because I look at the fact that how would Nasa even perceive me? Even if you're going to do it for me, what image am I bringing to you? So think about how that person even perceives you.
And it doesn't even stop at just people buying property. It also goes for people renting as well.
Yeah.
Because I know
God.
Because I know sometimes, I've had people that come to me and say, "Oh, I'm trying to rent a property, but maybe they don't have good credit scores." And so they're thinking to themselves, why would a landlord ever accept me with my 400 credit score or 500? So they have agents that are willing to
help them to do credit
run,
score. I mean, we've had different
all
situations. We've had to catch
fake bank statements, fake employment letters.
I mean, the one that's even trending is pay stub. I think people have an agreement with it. I think there's a particular one people use now that is. I don't want to mention their name. People I think it's so easy to falsify.
Yeah.
So when I see that pistol, my eyes are wide open because I'm not like, this is typical. Is used for fraudulent things, right? And I think for buyers, let's just quickly touch on, some of the mistakes, renters make. Yeah, right. For rentals. Let's look at, quickly. And I think for me, the first thing I think rentals always the mistake they make is the fact of not even understanding the market.
Right. In what sense?
So let's say, for example, where we are right now. Right
so
now,
guys, we're done with the rant now. Our rant about
So now let's get into
the conversation.
So, for example, right now, rent is kind of low.
Okay.
So if you don't know the market, landlord can still take a very high amount from you.
Yeah, and try to.
So it's very important for you to understand the markets you have. Now that being said, looking at what I think I told you about the current case of a client I was working. I was sending about 15 offers
for a rental property.
Right? Okay, I was just making. Guess what? I was just, when I said you're just printing offer. I was just literally sending offers, and
wow,
you expect.
But they must have wanted in a specific location for that to happen.
So that's what I'm going to. So
okay,
I went to an assumption of, come on, it's rent now.
Right. What's the big deal?
Forgetting the fact that as the rent goes down, their environment, their areas that people are probably, are more interested in getting into.
Right.
And they couldn't get in because of.
But was this in the east city or the west of the city?
In the west. Rather.
Okay.
In the west. That's Oakville. Specifically, right?
Bougie,
now, you expect that, his rent should be very cheap now. Yes, because it's very, very cheap. What has happened is giving more people opportunity
to jump into that market.
And because of that, landlords are now more very, very careful.
Right.
Because number one, they're not even happy.
That rent are down in the first place.
But guess what? They don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Because they have to rent it out. Now, because of that, they're more critical of the client's profile they're looking at. And some even set a particular kind of profile. So it's like an angry man. That is where he won't even rent his house out, but doesn't have a choice. So right now, all he can do is very critical of the profile, the people, what they do,
make sure they have the right
income,
person in
at
there.
least to ensure that even if I'm collecting small rent,
Let it be
let it
consistent.
be consistent. Right? So we went to that. I went to that expectation that,
Oh my gosh.
which is where knowledge comes into fact, which is where the doing your market research,
Right.
your data. But for rent, I didn't put so much of thought into having to do so much of research. I mean, it's just rent for the love of it, right? And then we sent the first offer. We went on viewing, and I felt like we had the upper hand. We went on viewing, and we had like 4 viewings.
A lot of tell you, oh, we like your profile. Nope.
No, and we accepted to like send the offer, and then I sent the first offer. I didn't even bother thinking of sending any other. I just felt like,
Right.
we even selected like, I don't want this one. I want this
I
one.
want this one.
And then offer came and they said, sorry, no. And I'm like,
Wait, what?
okay, let's go again. Second one, no. Third one, no. I'm like,
What's going on here?
take a chill pill. Something is wrong.
And you did that 15 times.
Yeah, 15 times.
Yeah,
And
so understand the market, just understand the, and because there's like the GTA market as a whole, and there are sub markets, which is like Oakville, for instance. And so just know the dynamics of the
dynamics.
landlords
And let me make
what
you
is
like
going on
this
there.
is the most interesting part. Even
Right.
basements.
Decline
Decline
this.
this. And I'm like, you must be kidding me. Basement?
Are you
I don't get
kidding
it. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Oh my gosh.
This is like the most interesting. Like now, I can say it's interesting now because
Right.
it's done and dusted, right?
Right.
But there's a lot of lessons that I learned, right? Which I think I don't want. I think I would just call it the 5 top mistakes rental shouldn't make. So the first thing for me is you need to understand the area. You need to understand what's currently happening, the current market situation.
Or get someone that understands.
Or
Which
get
is
someone that
a
understands. I mean, you can't
professional real estate agent.
even. For rent, you probably not even be able to rent yourself directly. But like if it's listed on MLS, you can be able to rent if you work with a
Yeah,
realtor.
the people usually ask you to who's your agent.
Who's your
and all
agent,
that.
right?
Yeah,
Or they
yeah.
could take over. I mean, or the listing
Right.
agent could also
Could
be your
take over as
agent,
well.
either way
Right,
it is,
yeah.
right? So I think the first thing, understand the market. Even though you know where you want to live,
Right.
you have an idea where you want to stay, but get an agent that can help you to understand, is there a deal market for you?
Right.
Do you think your income will qualify for that? Because again, I noticed that agents also do the ratio, the stress test.
In terms of
In
what your
terms
income
of-
is.
Yeah.
And
Something we call it, what do you call
will
it?
you say income to
The 40 to 60 ratio, right? So they did it as well to look at, and I had an agent that was very interesting, very smart guy.
Right.
He said, how much is the income? I told him, right? He said, no, it's not going to work. And I'm like, why? He said, I've
done the math,
I took
mental
40% off.
Right.
And I'm like, they have nothing left, anymore. So it's not going to work. So that's like, you can see how some people are very good at their job.
Right.
To able to understand, that for that. Because again, the point they're trying to make is the fact that we don't want someone who's going to come into this house and they'll struggle.
To make the
And
rent.
the easiest thing people can afford not to do something. People, I mean, if people have other things to pay for, what they will still not pay for is rent.
Yeah, because they feel like rent is rent is a suggestion.
You can't evict me with the current,
Yeah, landlord and tenant board and all that. Okay.
Yeah, so people kind of feel very comfortable. So I think for me, like I said, the first thing is make sure that you understand the market,
Okay.
and then be very clear as to the affordability, if you really can afford the house. Again, the same thing we spoke about for buying. Don't stress yourself.
Right.
Don't overstretch your income.
Your income.
Yeah, because again, life is going to happen to you, right? You need to eat, you need to go on vacation, you need to spend. Probably if you have a car, you're financing the car. Like so many things are going to come around, right? So really, don't spend more than 40% as well of your income
Right.
on rent.
And so the second thing for renters, just thinking about that is, which we are very huge on, and I think it's, not even I think, have a lot of documentation to back up what you're doing. So think about it from the landlord's perspective. You're trying to rent a house, right? If you're trying to, so number 2, you're trying to rent a house, you need income, you need pay stubs. Preferably, it's good to have savings as well.
Yeah.
Right? So I always ask clients, just as much documentation as you can provide, just send to us. Right? Because we need that. Because the person, you're just basically, like you said, you're just trying to give the landlord the assurance that if anything happens, I can pay my rent. Simple. And so whatever you can use to reassure that landlord, that's what you need to have. So because I find out sometimes we're asking tenants for things, they're like, oh, why do you need so much? It's not just the rent is just 2,000 now. Yeah, we know you have the money, but it's not what you have per se, it's what you can prove or show on paper that you actually have. and that's what's going to give the landlord that confidence to rent the property to you. So that's the second mistake I think renters make.
Yeah, and I think for that as well is like, oh my God. Yeah, like what you posted last week about the AAA, what kind of...
The triple
so you find people also asking for the AAA kind of clients, right?
Tenants, right.
So guess what? Their tenants, I can tell you for free, their profile that when I'm working with them,
Right.
I know I'm the boss. Because when I look at their income, I look at their credit score, I look at their residence, I'm like, you know what?
You look at the savings.
I mean, forget about
because
it.
someone comes in with 80 grand in savings, has both spouses have maybe like 100.
But that's even a lot.
Salaries.
That's even a lot because ideally, as a Canadian, how many people actually have that kind of amount of money in savings?
Right.
That was what I was speaking to an agent this when I said, this people I'm working with, they have almost about 50K combined together.
The rent for the whole
and I'm
year.
like, what are you? The guy said, can I have the money? I said, what money? He said, he said they should pay for 1 year. I'm like, no.
Who does that?
I'm not going to do that. Like, why am I going to pay for 1 year? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
You can pay for half the year.
I'm never going to pay for half the year. I'm never going to pay for half the year. It's only if it's a bad situation.
Or maybe the person is just coming newly.
Nothing.
Yeah, they don't have any credentials.
I mean, exactly. Right. But I'm not going to pay. Listen, I'm not going to pay for 6 months. So if you're a realtor listening to me, mark my face, I'm not going to pay for 6 months. I'm just joking.
But please, if you're a newcomer to Canada, you don't have a job, you don't have a credit report, there's no landlord reference or anything, you need to pay like
because it's a very different because you don't have anything to
show.
I mean, you basically you have no records, right? So you haven't built that integrity for them to know, right? Okay. So I think for me that's very, very important to ensure the fact that understand the kind of profile you're working as a person, and then you determine your bargaining power. Now, I think the third thing I think people mistake you don't have to make is people should read.
What do you mean?
Read your offer documents.
Okay, why?
Because sometimes you need to know what you're paying for.
Okay.
You need to know what the landlord is paying for.
Utilities.
Sometimes some people have internet, opportunity, like they get free internet in the building. Right. Some even have IPTV. I saw that,
nice.
IPTV is already there.
Now, landlords are being very nice now.
Very, very nice, right? So you need to know what is available to you. And you need to know what the landlord is also paying for. Let me give you a very good example. There was a client I worked with as well. The landlord did not even know that there's rent. There's internet on the property.
Oh, wow.
That the tenant doesn't have to pay for internet. It was when we started looking that an agent who had worked on that same building told me and said, I was trying to lease.
Right.
An agent told me that, oh, no, that internet is already there, that you can't add internet, into it. I'm like, no. He said, no, go ask your landlord. The property has an internet. I've sold a couple in that same building. So I know that it has internet. So
at least it's probably a new building, maybe for like the first 1 year or something.
So they know
have those
that they have an internet, deal in that property. So you need to understand what is available to you, because people don't even know that they have to pay utilities. Right. Some assume that, particularly for condos, they assume that everything is all inclusive. But if it's inclusive, it's going to be stated in the offer. Right. If it's not, so you have to read. So if, for example, you are going for a house of 2,800, right? And then, but then you factor in utilities.
Like 3,200,
almost about
100.
3,200. Right? That's what. So do you have that buffer?
Right.
So again, it just goes back to what you do for if you're buying. Don't just focus so much on what you're going to be paying as a disposable every month. Look at the other costs,
additional costs
that comes into it. And again, proximity is very, very important. So be very sure that there's proximity of transportation as to where your building is to your work in terms of access.
Right.
So, for example, is there a TCC close by or something like that, right? So don't just, I know people want to live somewhere, but because again, you move into the house, your house will be open. When bills start eating, you have to probably, during winter particularly, you don't have a car, you have to trek almost about 10-15 minutes to the next, bus station, right? So don't just focus so much on, people like condo, the high-rise, they look at the beauty, it's beautiful, the accessories, amenities, beautiful. But beyond that, oh my God, I have a lot of experience. So this client, I was telling the client, they said they wanted someone that has gym, and I said, okay, you know what? Prior to now, have you been going to the gym?
Good question.
Because believe me, I'm telling you for free. If you haven't been going to a gym before,
80% of people in Kono business they're never going to the gym.
Because see, working out is not exactly fun at initial stage.
Right.
Until after a while, when you've built some discipline around it, it becomes a part of your life. Like for me right now, it's a part of my life. Okay, I go to gym 4 times in a
blow
week.
blow your own trumpet.
Yeah,
Sure.
but initially it wasn't.
No one to verify.
It wasn't that. My muscle can
It
verify.
wasn't verify. Okay.
Right, it wasn't that easy. Right, so I told the client, "Have you been? Don't get caught up with all the amenities, the party room. Like life is you're gonna have a family, have kids. Like you probably for your first 1 year of even getting, you probably not even remember all those things. By the time you wake up in the morning, you are going to work. You come back from
What
work.
time do you have to go to the gym?
What
You're
time-
tired.
I mean,
unless you're super huge and
exactly.
taking care
So
of yourself.
which I said,
Yeah.
have you been going to the gym before? If you haven't been going to the gym before, I don't think it's something that's going to happen because you're moving to a condo that has a gym. And it was like, oh, okay, I think I agree with you. I said, yes. I said, yes. So that kind of refined, our search to say we're not limiting to just someone that has a gym. Because again, if it's been a lifestyle previously, yes, it might be. And I have another client that it was a must.
Right.
Because she's been going to the gym. It's like a big part of her life. So she didn't want to have to like leave the house and go
somewhere else.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So again, so you need to understand what you want, the amenities that are available to you in making a choice, as against just desiring all that is there and then limiting yourself, because you really wouldn't use that. I mean, I lived in a condo. We had a swimming pool for 1 year.
Can you swim?
It was even, I try. At least
So that's no.
I mean, this was even a home property that we owned, right? But whenever I went to the gym,
the pool.
whenever I went to the pool one, I don't even know if the color is white or blue. We never.
But you're actually paying for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But just because things are, you're caught up with so many things, right? And summer is just pretty how many months? 4 months. So you don't have so much of like, and again, during summer, people are out, vacation. I always wonder, why do people go vacation during summer?
Summer. Hey, to each his own.
Funny enough, because I actually feel like that's where you should be going. Yeah, because now you want to enjoy the weather, right? You should be going during winter. Okay, just by the way.
It depends what part of the world you're going to, but yeah, I see your point.
You get what I'm saying? Because it's hot already, right? So why am I leaving? Because I'm supposed to run in away when it's winter, right? So I was talking about that third point, right? So,
yes. So what's the fourth and final point now?
I think for me, the 4th point probably, forgetting to know that it is not your property. It is rental. So don't over visualize and start
don't put and start 80-inch TV screen on the wall.
You want to nail
and hammer and
I think I'll talk about the
stuff.
5th one. Right. Don't just know that is, for example, this client, for example, was looking for all the cabinets in the world.
Oh gosh.
And
they wanted to like the right cabinets.
They wanted number of cabinets. And because I have a lot of foodstuffs, I'm like, condo is not designed. We call it box houses.
Yeah,
it's not designed for you to have all the spaces that you ever need, right? Which is why you probably can have your locker if some have free lockers, right?
Right, good.
And it got us a lot of stress because when we go to the showing, she was like,
not enough cabinet space.
and I'm like, we go to the living room. It's not something like, ma'am, probably you don't need a condo.
This is how it's always going to be. There's no...
Probably don't need a condo because condos probably always for like 500, maximum like 1,000 or 900. That is even like 1,000 square feet is even it's not very common. So so you get what I'm saying. So you need to. It is not a house. It is a condominium. That's one. Number 2, it is a rental property.
Right.
So don't try again. You want to be very comfortable because you're paying for it.
Yes.
As well, right? So I'm not taking that away, but I'm saying don't imagine it as what you own and you want to design it all
and paint the walls.
Because again, think about by the time you're leaving the house, if you read through your offer, you have to restore the house back to the way you met it.
Right.
So which is more stressful for you, kneeling and then having to get all those things done.
The tenants run away half the time, anyways.
But I mean, I don't want you to run away.
It's not good. Yeah.
I don't want you to run away. Right?
They leave. I've seen tenants that escape. They tell you they're moving out on the 31st.
You're also going to be a landlord.
You go on the 30th.
You're also going to be a landlord.
The house is empty. They're gone.
They are gone, right? So let's deal with honesty and integrity. So I think the 4th point I mentioned is the fact that enjoy it, but don't over customize. It's not your house. It's a rental property. Yeah. It's just good for you.
And don't be offended if the landlord says you can't hang so and so things, as long as it's within reason, right? Yeah. And usually we ask those questions beforehand, so we kind of like know what are the don't do's, or what do I say, the don'ts and the do's of the particular unit as well. So so that's it. Yeah, and also I think, do you want to say the final? I think the final one. Oh, you can take the final one as well. I think the final one is you also need to know your rights. So we've spoken about the landlord's rights. So you need to know your rights. You need to know your obligations as a tenant,
And then you have to do the same thing for the landlord.
Right.
Not the landlord's right, landlord's obligation. It's very important for you to know.
So about rights, I would like to touch on very quickly the rent control, right? If you are renting a building that was built, I believe, after 2018,
yeah.
landlord has rights to increase your rent to whatever amount the following year.
So meaning that if I rent a house for, let's say 2,800 this year,
2,800.
landlord can afford to increase. Is there a limit? Is there a percentage increase, or you can increase to any amount?
So anything built after 2018, there's no limit.
So you can increase to any amount.
Any amount. But what happens is there's usually a market price.
Yeah.
Right, that there's an amount that the market is willing to pay for that particular unit. So let's say it's 2,800 now, but then new buildings in that building are leasing for like 3,200 or 3,500. That means you can increase your allowance to 3,500, as opposed to something built before 2018 where there's like a 2.5% cap.
Yeah.
Where regardless of what the market rent is
can't do
in
more
that
than
building,
that.
you can't do more than 2.5%.
Except landlord shows that they've done some renovation, some very, high-end
luxury
upgrades,
finishes and
and then
things
they
like
might
that.
have to, build the cost on the
Absolutely,
rent.
yeah. So that's that. Other things to know is there's usually, I know tenants reach out to us to say, oh, my landlord said they want to sell the property and I have to move out in 30 days. No. I mean, it depends on the agreement, but usually
I think for a fixed rent, you can't do
the
that.
lead
It's
time
only
is
on the
60 days.
I think it's only on the month-to-month.
Yes, month to month, 30 days, you have to move out, right? But still, you can still hold your ground and say, oh, 30 days, can I get more time? Try to negotiate that as well.
There's a caveat to that.
Right, which is what?
If the landlord wants to use the property,
Right.
yes,
For their own themselves or their family members, right?
yes, they can chase you away.
But the funny thing, I've had situations where landlords said they wanted to use it for themselves and their family just to get tenants out.
Yeah.
And then
Sometimes
they
they're very
found out that the what's it called? It was just to maybe sell it or to re-rent it to somebody else. Now that tenant now found that same property on like Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace or something. And so they reported the landlord to the landlord tenant board, and that landlord got fined.
And I knew a landlord that did something different.
Yeah.
Moved into the property.
Right. And then moved out.
I moved out.
That landlord is...
I'm telling you.
He's an OG.
And it's because that tenant has been giving them trouble.
So they
wanted to get the tenants out of the house.
Right.
So the landlord was very educated, knew what the laws are. So moved into the property. Right. And not like he moved in everything. Just moved in one or two chairs. And then just come in the evening with his friends, just eat chill. And chill there. I'm living there. You won't tell me how to live, right? And then it goes away. After like 2 months.
Did you take pictures of himself inside the house?
Of course. 2 months after.
Moved out
of the house. And what happened?
I changed my mind.
It changed my mind. It wasn't comfortable. So you can see that there are rights, there are obligations, but there are also ways people have been able to understand how to play. So you need to know what your rights are.
Right.
And again, I think reasonably, if you're very nice to your landlord, if you have very good rapport, if you're very personable with your landlord, right, they'll treat you fairly. Right?
Hopefully.
Yeah, except for people that are just kind of completely...
Just difficult people.
They'll treat you fair. Because again, we have difficult tenants as well.
Right.
We don't pay rent. The landlord wants to come to inspect the house and not available. Right? Because landlord some people are very hands-on. They want to say you're using their house. Well, probably you told them that 2 of you are moving in. And then it's been like the whole of your village or the whole of your family, moved in. So people are also very hands-on. They want to check in how things are done to make sure that that's... Because again, the more people in the house, the more wear and tear. Because the utilization rate is higher. People are using the washroom, using the everything.
And these boxes that we call boxes in Sky, they're actually very expensive. They're expensive boxes, right? So
they're expensive.
Yeah. So if you take care of someone's property,
someone else take care of yours.
As well. So
yeah, what goes around comes around.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I hope today we've been able to give you, something very different.
Yeah, we started with values, our rant on being people of integrity. Because myself and Joe started a conversation about integrity, character, and excellence. So I guess we just kind of like that bled through into the start of this podcast. So integrity, excellence, character when you're buying, when you're renting,
it's very important.
Extremely important.
Yeah. Stay tuned. Next week we have something on the next episode for you. You don't want to miss it. This is still your YRJ podcast with Joe.
Until next time, Nasser.
Thank you so much. Guys. Bye. See you.